The ex-Olympic snowboarder, described as a modern-day Pablo Escobar by U.S. authorities, has pleaded not guilty to all 17 charges leveled against him by prosecutors today. We're talking about Ryan Wedding, a Canadian who competed in the 2002 Winter Games in Salt Lake City, appeared in federal court in Santa Ana today, where he denied involvement in a slew of charges related to drug trafficking and murder. The 44-year-old was arrested last week in Mexico City after U.S. officials upped the bounty for his arrest to a whopping $15 million. But that is just a drop in the bucket compared to the billions of dollars worth of cocaine that he's alleged to have trafficked over the course of his illicit career. Wedding's organization is alleged to have trafficked Colombian cocaine through Mexico in partnership with the cartels, allegedly using a network of planes and boats to slip the contraband through the U.S. border. According to CBS News, the ex-kingpin wore a smirk as he walked into court, despite the jailhouse jumpsuit and shackles that he had to wear before the judge. That judge ordered Wedding held without bail until trial, though his attorney, Anthony Colombo, told reporters his client was in good spirits despite his day in court. Wedding is expected to appear in court again February 11th for a status conference, so let's talk about it. Senior trial attorney at Garagos and Garagos, Alexandra Kazarian, is with me. Thank you so much for taking the time. Should I make anything from that smirk? I mean, not guilty, of course. But does he feel confident in this case?
Look, you don't become the next Pablo Escobar by going in on your very first day in court and ratting yourself out. I mean, this is a man who's been accused of killing witnesses that were up to testify. He's not going to all of a sudden turn into state's witness, not on day one and not ever. This is somebody who has chosen that lifestyle, whatever it is. And obviously, he has not been found guilty of anything. He has an absolute right to plead not guilty, and he's absolutely innocent until proven guilty. But this is not somebody who is ever going to plead guilty to these charges, because he's never going to get anything less than life in prison with all these charges that he's up for. And all his only options are literally to fight this to the death or plead guilty and go to federal prison as a rat for the rest of his life. No way.
And, you know, he's the head honcho. I don't think they would, I mean, who else would you want but him? So what is a defense like this in a case where you have all these charges, so many different players? I forgot how long the indictment is, but I think they dedicated a page to all of his aliases. It's a massive document. How do you defend something like this?
Well, every single witness that they're going to have is going to have a rap sheet longer than what he's accused of. I mean, at least they're going to have 1, 2, 3 felonies that they're accused of. These are people that if they have any information, it's because their hands are dirty. So how are you going to take the word of somebody who's accused of the same kinds of things that he is, and they are obviously getting some kind of benefit for testifying? None of these people are angels. So that's exactly what you argue.
The digital evidence would be bad if they have messages, though, right?
But in today's day and age, honestly, we're at the very beginning of AI, and I'm telling you, jurors are more and more skeptical of digital evidence these days.
Let me ask you this. We don't know a lot of details about his capture. I mentioned the $15 million reward. Is it possible that someone tipped them off, and whoever that person tipped them off may be one of the star witnesses in this case?
It could be. That person is putting their life on the line. There is not an inch on this planet where they are going to be safe. $15 million is not enough to buy your safety from an international drug ring. So it could be. And it could be that that person tipped them off and now is in hiding, which means that they're not going to be able to use any information that that person gave them. And real quick, what do you think is the strongest charge from the prosecution, the one that would concern you the most? Would it be the accusations of murder? Would it be the drug trafficking allegations? We talked about which one to poke holes in. You know, it's really hard to tell when you don't know what the evidence is. If you've got, you know, random witnesses that aren't related that saw and can identify somebody in an assault or in a murder, that's one thing. But when we have no idea where the evidence is coming from, it's really hard to tell which one of these is the strongest. Interesting developments. Alexandra Kazarian, thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it. Absolutely.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.